Hi, welcome back to Gear Up Girls. In today's video, we are going to be interviewing Riley Rebuilds. How did your business restoring carburetors get started?
It originally started because my dad told me I had to buy my first car. So when I was about 13, I was coming up with all these cool car ideas that I wanted to build with my dad. He was a stay-at-home dad when I was growing up and always was a hobbyist in the cars. So I kind of had an infectious want for that. And he pushed me to the garage to start flipping things because I'm from Florida and you
Hmm.
can't get a job until you're 14. So he pointed out a carburetor in the garage, and I asked what it was, and he explained that it's a mixture of fuel and air, and it's kind of the heart of your car. And we disassembled it together, rebuilt it, and I started flipping carburetors from there.
Cool. What made you choose to restore carburetors?
So they're quite simple, and they're very impactful. So there's a huge market for them, even though they're for older vehicles. They apply to almost all vehicles pre-80s. They also go to lawnmowers, boats, bikes. So the market for them was huge, and a lot of people don't know how to rebuild them. So a lot of the older guys that do know how to are retiring or passing away, and so it was a niche little market that I enjoyed being in.
Nice. How has your business grown over the years?
So originally it just started for kind of some chump change here and there, trying to buy my first car, and COVID hit when I was 15, and so it kind of stopped there because I had enough money for my first car and we rebuilt it in that timeline. And then when I turned 16, I needed gas money, and some other stuff, so it kind of was ramping up. And then when I was about 17, I got into a car accident and had to pay 10 grand in expenses. And so we like totally ramped it up. And so what I did is I went on Facebook, and there was a Facebook group called like Carburetors, Tips, and Trades. And at this point, I had kind of bought Florida out of all the carburetors on Facebook Marketplace.
Hmm.
And so I needed small parts that you couldn't really buy anywhere, like linkages or very specific manufactured parts. So I put out asking if anybody had these parts or old carburetors they'd be willing to send me, and I'd pay for shipping and that kind of stuff. And that went viral on social media. And so I ended up having a huge influx in sales. And the rebuild service, we created it so people sent me their carburetors. So I wasn't exactly purchasing carburetors and then selling them. And then from there, we LLC'd the company. We got a logo. We created a Shopify website. We started making ads for it. And just from there, it completely took off.
Wow, do you have like other girls on your team that help you?
Yes, so when it originally took off, I hired my four girl best friends.
Hmm.
They came and worked for me for about a year and a half, and then we started getting some younger generation interested. So from this, we joined on social media and the news, and we said yes to everything. So it was a lot of travel, a lot of car shows. I would go to car shows and I would tune people's carburetors for free, give out business cards, that kind of stuff. And we had a lot of our littles find us through the news, and they asked to come join, and they came into the garage and just really enjoyed it. So now we have 8 employees. We have 5 girls and 3 boys. They all have their own classic hot rods, and they all do carburetors. Each of them specialize in a different carburetor now, so it's starting to branch out even more.
Nice. How have you built your channel over the years?
It, I don't really. This is where we're at right now. Is a lot of it was just me having fun and enjoying
Hmm.
myself and creating that content and then putting it up. Now we're starting to be more conscious of what we put up, and we're working with sponsors and becoming more of a digital platform for people to like and follow, and how-tos and that kind of stuff. But a lot of it was just kind of I didn't really care about it. And it was just more of like what we were doing, how we were having fun. But we also created storylines. So that's a big thing with my content is it's integrated within our storylines. So there's a purpose for our car build or there's a build up for our car build. And then once that build up it's a huge trip with a lot of fun and a lot of women and a lot of involvement. A big part of Riley's Rebuilds is the people that we bring in and the community that we like to surround ourselves with. So a lot of people see Riley's Rebuilds not just as a carburetor rebuilding service, but also the social media platform where we connect a couple dozen of women to different outlets and sources and sponsors and all of that.
Do you and your team go to lots of car events together?
Yes, so we always are doing SEMA, so that's always been a thing. We brought two car builds the last 2 years, and we do a lead up to SEMA. So we do like the road to SEMA or like the travel from um, Chicago to somewhere else. And then now we're also doing rally racing for the Great Race, which is a speed and time precision rally. So we do a bunch of car builds for that and we get our cars into those. We used to do a lot when I wasn't in college where I could go and I would do a bunch of car shows. But now that I'm in college, it's a little bit more difficult. And then especially because we have a lot of minors, they also go to high school. So we don't go to far shows all the time, but if it's big enough, we'll make it.
Cool. What are your plans for the future? Do you want to stay in the automotive industry?
Yeah, so I'm currently going to college for physics and mechanical engineering. I'm going for my mechanical engineering master's right now. I definitely want to stay in the automotive industry. I don't necessarily know if Riley's Rebuilds is going to be the top, like that's where I end up. I love the business and social aspect of the automotive industry, but it's kind of just to go with the flow. I don't like to we do it by year, and if it works out, it works out, and if not, that's okay.
Do you have challenges when you first started your business?
I would say because I was so young, I couldn't do any of the LLCs or any of the banking or any of the taxes. And because I was so young, it was all in my dad's name. My dad is like my best friend. He's my partner. I've been thankful and grateful enough to have that opportunity with him. But that definitely can be a challenge for some people. Also, like the idea of branding. So it's not as big of a deal for me now, and I'm grateful that I had parents who are in business to kind of guide me through this. But when I was younger, I wanted to do some stuff. I wanted to be on social media. I wanted to be like an average teenager. And there's a lot of things that could put that on the line. If it got out online that I had done certain things, that would have been very difficult. So I felt like in high school, I missed out on a couple things, but at the same time, I gained a whole different community that people from the outside see as really cool when they're looking in, you know? And as a little bit older now, I'm so glad that like I didn't post certain things that were trending at the times that they were, that kind of stuff. I've had minor incidents with older men telling me I can't, or kind of dealing with like just being a woman in the industry, but because I was so young, I think that helped a lot actually, more than it was negative. I think being a female and being really young opened a lot more doors than it would have if I was maybe a little bit older or even a boy.
Interesting. Have you learned a lot of skills since you first started your channel?
Definitely. A big part of my role is the business and the marketing and the social. I would definitely say I have learned a lot of navigating conversations with adults, being in business rooms where the average age is 40 and it's all men, and conducting confidence and conducting the room well. Taxes was a huge curve for me. And then also learning about being a good boss, what is worth like what's money worth, that kind of stuff too. Like, how much do you pay your employees versus how much do you take? How much do you give, first of all? What do you offer as a boss? So, like, a big thing with Riley's Rebuilds is we're a family. Like, we do breakfast every morning for the girls that come in, and we ask them to be there for a whole day doing content, and that can be very exhausting, but they get paid very well. So that was a learning curve as well.
Interesting. What's one piece of advice you'd give a young girl wanting to work on cars?
Do your research is a big one. So definitely get into it. Like, it's really scary and nerve-wracking at first, or at least for me, it still is. Like, looking into projects, buying projects, seeing all the parts and things you need to do, but taking it step by step, being very organized. There's so many YouTube videos that's like, what do you buy on Facebook Marketplace? What do you look for? Is there rust? Is there no rust? Do you want to do a frame off resto? That kind of stuff. What are the easier cars to go for? I would definitely say stay with an older car. It's just less electrics, less wiring, airbags aren't as difficult, and they were engineered very well and they're sturdy. And then just going step by step. YouTube's gonna be your best help, and there's going to be shops that are going to want to help. Start documenting your process just for fun. Like, just put a camera up behind you and do your thing. But also be true to yourself. That's a big thing too, I say, for ladies. There's a brand for everybody, and whatever you pick is going to stick with you for a while. Social media is very important, especially in this industry. There's two sides of it, and you need to make a decision and stick with that decision. You can always come back from it, but like I said, social media always stays, and you're always going to have a persona online. So just be very aware of what you're putting out, the content that you're developing, and how you want that to look online.
Ooh, that's some great advice. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for reaching out.